You know, it was supposed to be just another ordinary day, but sometimes a single phone call is all it takes to turn a simple journey into something else entirely, something profound.
And it all started right there, with that one call, a call about a dear friend that gave me this exact feeling. You know the one, that sudden, gut-wrenching drop where the world you knew just a second ago, well, it's just not stable anymore.
So let me tell you about my friend Akmal. He's more than a friend, really. He's this incredibly cheerful, bright guy, and our friendship is the kind where we can talk about anything, from politics to our deepest personal stuff. It's just easy, warm. And that's what made the news so jarring. The contrast was just staggering. I mean, literally a few days before, everything was completely normal. We were grabbing fast food, laughing, just enjoying that simple comfort of being with a close friend.
And just like that, a normal day completely shattered. It was Akmal's father on the other end of the line, and you could feel the sadness in his voice. It was that thick. He said Akmal was in the hospital. In that one moment, everything else just melted away. The only thing that mattered was getting to him.
But getting to my friend's side, well, it wasn't a straight line. It felt more like, I don't know, a series of tests, like some kind of obstacle course that was mirroring the chaos I was feeling inside.
And the very first obstacle? The car, of course. In that moment of absolute desperate urgency, the one thing I needed most just wouldn't start. It seems like such a small problem, but man, it felt monumental.
Yep, a dead battery, which meant a half-hour wait for a mechanic under a scorching sun. And let me tell you, every single minute that ticked by just cranked up the anxiety. That feeling of being totally frustratingly stuck when all you want to do is go.
So I finally get on my way thinking, okay, finally. But that relief, it didn't last long. The main road wasn't a road. It was a boiling, roaring stream of metal, just a complete standstill. That feeling of helplessness just came rushing right back.
And then, right in the middle of this gridlock, total chaos erupted. Some reckless kid caused a collision, and all that pent-up frustration from being stuck, it just boiled over. People started yelling, a fight even broke out for a second. It felt like the whole world outside was just as frayed and tense as I was feeling inside. The next test wasn't just an inconvenience. It was genuinely terrifying. A dumper truck, and it looked like a monstrous beast, came roaring down the road. It was one of those moments of pure fear where you just instinctively say a prayer, you know? A really stark reminder of how fragile we are out on these crazy roads.
And with every single one of these delays, this thought started to form in my head. My desperate need to rush, to hurry, was being met by a world that was literally forcing me to slow down. It really started to feel less like a coincidence and more like a lesson, like something was telling me to just wait, to see.
After all that noise, all that chaos on the journey, arriving at the hospital was a shock. The change was so dramatic. I stepped out of the roaring city and into this sterile, silent, and, honestly, intimidating world. I don't know about you, but hospitals have always been a place of fear for me. It's not a place of healing in my mind. It's the building, the staff, even that distinct smell. It all just feels heavy, like the air itself is suffocating you with worry. And the walk to his ward? Wow. It was like a journey through human suffering, all concentrated in one hallway. Every face told a story of fear, or pain, or hopelessness. Seeing a mother with empty arms, a father in disbelief, patients just trembling in pain, it really put my own panic into a much wider perspective. And then, finally, I got to his room. This was the moment that the whole chaotic journey was about. This quiet, powerful reunion with my friend Akmal.
I saw him, and he gave me his signature smile. But it was different. That usual life, that spark he has, it just wasn't there. It was a smile that was clearly carrying a lot of pain. Turns out, it was a really bad case of food poisoning, something his careless eating habits finally caught up with. But you know, this wasn't the time for lectures or an I told you so. It was a moment for connection. We just sat there, in silence, holding hands. And that silence, it said everything. The fear, the relief, the comfort of just being there for someone. It was a powerful reminder, for sure. So after staying for a while and leaving the heavy atmosphere of the hospital behind, the journey home began. And apparently, the day, it wasn't quite finished with me yet.
Just as I got back into the car, the sky just opened up. A heavy downpour started, and the roads started flooding. Another obstacle. But this time, I didn't feel that same frustration. It was more like a weary surrender to whatever the day wanted to throw at me. And as I finally pulled up to my house, the rain started to feel different. It wasn't an obstacle anymore. It felt like a release, a cleansing, almost as if the sky itself was washing away all the stress and exhaustion of the day. I pretty much collapsed onto my bed, and all the scenes from the day were just spinning in my head. And out of that whole chaotic mess of events, one single, powerful realization started to come into focus.
Seeing so much struggle in one day, my silly car trouble, the traffic, the accidents, and especially that raw pain in the hospital, it just triggered this really fundamental question in my mind. It was a moment of clarity, a sudden, sharp realization of just how much I have to be thankful for, things I almost never even think about.
And it brought to mind that old piece of wisdom, the kind the elders always talk about. If you want to truly value something, just imagine your life without it for a little while. The day had kind of forced me to do that. And suddenly, everything became crystal clear.
And I guess that's the ultimate lesson from all this. Those frustrating delays, the maddening obstacles, maybe they aren't just problems getting in our way. Maybe they're unintended pauses, forced moments that make us look up from our frantic rush, take a breath, and just be thankful for what we already have.